Every single morning, before the city fully opened its eyes, the bus station was already wide awake. The sound of engines starting, footsteps rushing across concrete floors, announcements echoing again and again. Everyone seemed to be going somewhere, except one man. His name was Daniel. Daniel sat near an old pillar, holding a small cup in his hand. His clothes were worn, his shoulders were slightly bent, and his eyes carried a quiet tiredness. People passed by him without stopping. Some avoided eye contact, some pretended he wasn't even there. Daniel didn't feel anger anymore. Over time, he had convinced himself that this was simply his place in the world. One afternoon, as the station buzzed with noise, a single figure stood out. A tall man entered the station calmly. His suit was neat, his steps were steady, his posture showed confidence. Daniel noticed him instantly because this man looked like someone who knew exactly who he was. Daniel stood up slowly and walked toward him. His hand trembled slightly as he stretched it forward. The businessman stopped. For a brief moment, the rush of the station faded away. Two different worlds stood face to face. Instead of reaching for his wallet, the businessman looked into Daniel's eyes and asked, "Do you only take from others, or do you ever give something in return?" Daniel felt frozen. No one had ever questioned him like that before. "I'm only trying to survive," Daniel said quietly. "I have nothing to give." The businessman nodded calmly. "In life," he said, "nothing grows without exchange." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The question echoed in his mind again and again. Nothing grows without exchange. You must give before you receive. Lying in the darkness, Daniel whispered, "What could someone like me possibly give?" The next day, Daniel did something different. He didn't ask anyone for money. He simply watched. He noticed small acts of kindness, a stranger helping someone with luggage, a smile exchanged between travelers. For the first time, Daniel wasn't waiting for help. He was searching for understanding. Near the corner of the station, Daniel noticed a small stall. Bright, colorful, handmade bookmarks caught his attention. They weren't expensive, but they were meaningful. Something clicked inside his mind. Maybe I don't need much. Maybe I just need to offer something. With nervous excitement, Daniel tried something new. When a traveler placed a coin in his cup, Daniel smiled and handed him a bookmark. The traveler paused, then smiled back. That single moment felt more powerful than anything Daniel had experienced in years. As days passed, more people stopped. They accepted the bookmarks, they smiled. Some even stayed to talk. Daniel noticed a pattern. When he gave first, people were happy to give back. Slowly, his body language changed. One quiet evening, as the sky turned orange, Daniel stood alone. He looked at the bookmarks in his hand and felt something new inside him. Confidence. I'm not a beggar. I'm someone offering value. That thought changed everything. One afternoon, Daniel saw the businessman again. This time, Daniel walked toward him with confidence. He offered a bookmark not as a request, but as an exchange. The businessman smiled warmly. "You've learned. You were never empty." That night, Daniel made a choice. He packed his belongings and walked away from the station, not with fear, but with purpose. He wasn't leaving failure behind. He was stepping into growth. 6 months passed quietly. The station remained the same, but Daniel didn't. He stood behind a small stall, neatly dressed, confident, smiling. He was no longer waiting for someone to save him. He had saved himself. Fate brought two familiar faces together once again. They shook hands. This time, there was no difference between them. The businessman smiled and said, People don't change when life changes. Life changes when people change. Your life is shaped by how you see yourself. If you believe you have nothing, you will remain with nothing. But when you recognize your inner value, the world responds. Remember this truth. Before you ask, offer. Before you receive, give.